With that, Ben Johnson now is joining us. The new Bears coach is joining us live. So, it's funny, when you forget about this, Coach, is that, I was looking, and people forget Tua came out of college, didn't have a great fit with the staff. He and the Brian Flores struggle, got Mike McDaniels, Pro Bowl. Jared Goff got a defensive coach. Didn't get a great start. Boom, here comes McVay, pops. So listen, we all said last year, I said, it's just easier to get an offensive coach. Go ask Bo Nix and Sean Payton. It just helps. Did you feel when you first sat down with Caleb, hey, I got to build this kid's confidence up like a Tua, like a Goff? It's rough. It's a hard sport. Did you feel that was part of your process? I want to make sure this kid knows we really believe in him.
Yeah, well, he does know that we believe in him. There's no question about that. But Caleb's deal has never been a confidence issue. He knows he's a high-level player. He's been that way since middle school, high school, college, and it's going to continue to be that way here in the NFL. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to support him, give him some clarity on what our expectations are on and off the field, and help him grow and develop. And so far, we've only had, call it 6 weeks now, the off-season program. It's going really well. So
you got two new coordinators. You're on your first-time head coach. Caleb's in year 2. Who do you lean on in that locker room, Ben? What player or maybe unit? Is it Tooney? Is it Dolman? Who do you lean on in that offense?
We've got a number of players offensively and defensively that have Pro Bowls under their belt, that have playoff game experience, win experience. And so I think when you look at that, those are the guys, not just for Caleb, but for the entire team that we're leaning on to show us what good football looks like, what good teams do, and to establish that standard for the rest of us to fall into line. And so Tooney's a great name on offense. I mean, I don't know that anybody's had quite the level of success on our entire roster that he's had. Call it 6 Super Bowls, and he's won 4 of them. I mean, it's outstanding. And then you go over to phase 2 drill work out on the field, and he's busting his rear end. And he just had a Super Bowl that he was in a few weeks ago. So, I mean, it's pretty outstanding, and it doesn't take long for somebody that first time these rookies coming in, they turn and they see how he goes about his business, and pretty quick they understand, well, if I want to last a long time, I need to just do what he does.
So I asked a GM, a very, very good GM in the NFL recently about you, and he said, he goes, most coaches, we hire CEOs now. It's a CEO job. He said, you get occasionally lucky with a Shanahan or an Andy Reid that they're scheme geniuses and they can do CEO. That's really hard. And he said, Ben has a chance to do that. Ben's excellent on scheme, and he has the personality. A lot of guys in the league think Ben has the chance to be the CEO, but it's a CEO job now more than it is X's and O's. So is the difficulty with you, Ben, you're going to be on that headset. How do you manage yourself to go, no, I'm the CEO here? Because there are things that happen on a sideline in game where you got to put the CEO hat on, and you can't be a mile deep on calling plays. Will that be hard on the first call you disagree with coming through the headset?
Well, shoot, I mean, yeah, everything I'm doing right now, springtime training, it's my first time doing it. So there'll be some things that pop up that I got to work through and find the best process for not only myself, but what's best for the team. That's the most important thing. And the fortunate thing is the way this staff has been constructed is with that in mind. A lot of my blind spots or the areas that I could use the most help in, we've got some really good experienced coaches with Dennis Allen or Richard Hightower on defense and special teams. On offense, we got Eric Bieniemy that's coordinated in this league, Press Taylor that's coordinated in this league. So there's a lot of high-level experience throughout this coaching staff that they're going to help foresee any bumps in the road and help me navigate. On game day, we got a great game management guy of the name Harry Freed. He's done it for a long time, and he's going to be able to help me stay ahead of that because I really haven't. As a play caller, you have to be exposed to that and understand those situations. But now it's a little bit different moving over to the defensive side of the ball and being on the headset with them when they're up.
So one of the things I liked about Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams coming out of college, they move a lot. You get all the upside, not a lot of picks. It's a little Mahomes. Aaron Rodgers in his prime didn't throw a lot of picks. Most great quarterbacks, Elway, Manning, Favre, they throw picks. That's Andrew Luck. It's part of the deal. Caleb doesn't. Now, some have said, well, he holds the ball long, whatever. I mean, he's a playmaker. The criticism I heard out of college from GMs with rings was he is so gifted. And we saw a little bit of this with Mahomes. Sometimes you got to just give him layups. Just take what the defense gives you. How do you coach that? Because it's a strength. It can be a little bit of a burden, that great athleticism. How do you coach that?
Well, I think it starts with what we're doing right now in the springtime is establishing the intent of every play call. And that takes time and it takes a number of reps, but the more time we spend together with myself, with Declan Doyle, our offensive coordinator, with JT Barrett, our quarterback coach, in that room with the quarterbacks, the more it comes to light in why we're calling plays and where that ball should go. And the more the quarterback understands the why, the quicker he is to see the defense and deliver the ball to the primary or the secondary targets. So that's what we're working through right now. At the end of the day, though, Caleb was taken as a high draft pick because of that playmaking ability that you're alluding to. And so we don't want to neuter that as well. So there's a fine line of understanding what we're doing and how we're doing it. But at the same time, when things don't go maybe to plan, we're not going to discourage his playmaking ability and his ability to create outside of the pocket as well. So that's going to be a fun balance for us to go through both spring and training camp. I mean, we can't get enough reps right now, really as a team. And so we're looking to maximize those going forward.
So offensive line is, to me, the most underrated unit in the sport, but it's also the hardest to create cohesion. You've got a young guy. You got a rookie. You got Drew Dahlman. You got Joe Tooney. You got a lot of moving parts here. I think potentially it could be great. But I've seen a bit of a trend over the last 5 to 6 years that veterans aren't playing preseason football. So you're going to have to, September, you're going to get a lot of the work in for the Tooneys. You don't want to put him out there and get banged up. I looked at your schedule and I said, well, the toughest part of their schedule is late. They're going to have until Thanksgiving to get that puppy rolling. You don't want to face the toughest part in the first 4 weeks. Not that your early schedule is easy, but at the end, you're facing defensive fronts that can be substantially tough. How long, what is realistic to say, okay, Dahlman, Tooney, the rookie, what is a realistic time to go, okay, we are a cohesive top 10 unit?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the challenge there during training camp is how quickly can we come together. I mean, they're really bonding as a unit right now, communication-wise, but we don't have the pads on. I think we need the pads on before we truly start gelling together. So training camp's going to be critical for us. I actually like where that bye week is because it usually takes about 4 weeks into the season to find out who you are as a team and what you do well and what you don't do well, and then that's at a good time so that we can reflect on that as a coaching staff to really hone in on what we want to be for that the remaining 3 quarters of the season. I would say my experience has been when you get a new group together, it could take up to half the season before they really start to mesh and come together in terms of the run game more so than pass pro. I think we should be a pretty good pass pro unit right off the jump, but that run game, the communication, the angles with which we're all going, trusting each other, particularly in the wide zone scheme that we're installing right now in OTAs, that's something that we want to make sure that we get plenty of time on task on.
So all human beings are the same in one aspect. If you're afraid of flying and you're on a plane and the minute turbulence hits, where does your mind go? Back to your fears. So I reported a year ago, Seth Wickersham reported it today, that Caleb was worried about the history of the Bears offense. And so you didn't inherit it. That's not your issue. You don't care about that. But there is a psychology, Ben, that's true. He goes into a 2-week losing streak, and it's turbulence on a plane that he was scared to fly anyway. How do you ensure that when there are bumps in this division, and there are bumps for him, that those fears that are now reported of, oh man, this organization and quarterback, he's had those. That's okay. Some installed by his dad, whatever. How do you ensure during the turbulence of this season, and there will be, your division's too good. There's too many good teams on the schedule. How do you ensure he doesn't lose faith and belief in your system?
Well, you talk about fears, and I don't see it quite the same way. I see this as what a great opportunity we have to do something that really has never been done. There hasn't been a 4,000-yard passer here in this franchise, and And I think Caleb's going to be the first one, and one of many years, many seasons to come where he's able to accomplish that feat. So I see a chance for greatness here for him. He's been communicated that way, and he feels the same way. I don't know what's gone on prior to him joining the organization, but he is very proud to be a Chicago Bear. That's what our conversations have included, and he's really excited to get to work right now and be the best version of himself for 2025. There's no question we're going to face adversity. Both he will, he's not going to. We want to see growth from here to here over the course of the season. And it's not going to be linear growth. It's going to be a little bit of ups and downs and stair steps along the way. But we want to see from game 1 to game 17 that we're getting better as a whole. And that's not just him. That's us as a team as well. So I'm excited. That's what makes coaching fun, is when the hiccups occur, when the adversity strikes, how do we respond to it? That's when you find out who you are as a man.
Finally, was there a moment in your practices and seeing Caleb? It could have been a throw. It could have been something that you went, oh, that's pretty good. Like, what have you had one of those moments yet where you were just like, yeah, no, I see it. I see the number 1 pick.
That's every day. That's every day we're out there. Routes versus air. We're changing maybe some footwork and some coaching points with what we're working through right now, but today it was a post route that he probably threw it 60 yards right on the money. A few days ago it was a keeper. He's out of the pocket going to the left, and he just able to flip his hips and fling that thing right on the money. So he's got such great God-given ability that we're looking to tap into. You see it every day right now, and like I said, it's going to be more fun once we get the competitive nature of offense versus defense a little bit in OTAs.
Coach, it is great seeing you. All I see is a smile. All you coaches smile so much during this period. Keep the smile through the season. Don't let the league beat you down as a head coach. It's great seeing you.
You got it. Thanks, Colin. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Coach. Thank you.